What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. I'm gonna try to speed through this as quick as possible because this just apparently popped up on my radar, and apparently it happened last night. I don't know what Tony Khan was thinking. I'm not sure what he was attempting to do. I'm not sure who got him all riled up. I mean, I'm almost certain what happened. I'm almost certain what made him do it. I'm pretty sure the substance that was involved that allowed him to, for some reason, go out of his way and make these tweets. But my thing is like, why, bro? And some may say to themselves, "Oh, Devontae, is it really that big of a deal?" Not necessarily in the sense that like, oh, it's gonna cause some harm, but it is a big deal because of the person who's making the comments and the fact that it's so unnecessary. Where it's like, I just be a boss, like CM Punk said. Just be a boss. Why put yourself in this predicament or in these situations to even have anything criticized? So Tony Khan earlier this morning, or I guess it would have been like 11 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock midnight. It says 9 hours ago as of now. This dude tweeted out, for some ungodly reason, I don't know what provoked this. Maybe the ratings and them being so close to NXT. That's the only thing I could think of, but I'm not sure what provoked this. He woke up, or maybe he was wired up, I don't know. And he said, "Wake up the bots and tell them that we're having fun over here in AEW." And then he hashtagged Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and Forbidden Door. And then he went on to say, and I don't know what alludes to this. I mean, I guess a drunk person speaks a sober mind, right? This dude tweets out, "I book wrestling for the Sickos because that's what I am and that's who I care about." I'm not even sure. So, at first I was thinking to myself, maybe this has something to do. And now that I'm reading it in real time and actually thinking about it in real time, now I'm starting to change my mind. Maybe it has nothing to do in regards to, I don't know, the NXT ratings now being so close to the Dynamite ratings. And maybe someone triggered him in the Twitters. I mean, maybe someone triggered him in an interview that he happens to catch wind of. I don't know. Can I just remind you guys one more time that this guy's a billionaire? Can I remind you guys that this guy is an owner of a wrestling company? He is the boss. He is the leader. He is the CEO. He is the person who is running every endeavor within this company. He has so many people's lives in the palm of his hands, and being so close to the contract situation right now as far as having the licensing deal with TBS and TNT and Turner and Warner Brothers Discovery. Is this how you want to display yourself in front of everyone? Like, in what way does this help? This is what I'm trying to understand. In what way is this helping anything or anybody? Like, what are we doing here? Why are you up this early? This kind of reminds me of the Chris Jericho situation back in Christmas when he was going back and forth with Jim Cornette's lawyer, Stephen P. New. And he just inserted himself into a discussion about NDAs, and it's Christmas, and it's like, what are you doing, bro? Go spend time with your family. You have kids. Why are you inserting yourself into a conversation that doesn't involve you? And look what happened. You involved yourself, and then it spiraled out of control, and it opened up different doors that didn't need to be opened up. And now you have a reputation bestowed upon you that you can't even have leverage anymore in regards to going after WWE for certain situations, because now you just added to the multitude of other people who also have certain situations happening within your company. Whether you're talking about the stuff that was happening with I forgot the guy's name, the guy who got arrested for the domestic dispute charge, or BJ Whitmer, I forgot about him also. It's just so much going on that you just go out of your way and you open the doors to situations that didn't involve you. You put yourself in predicaments that didn't need to be put up. And here you have Tony Khan. And you know how I take this personally? Like I said earlier, a drunk person speaks a sober mind. So I'm going to presume that he is not in his feelings. I'm going to assume that he was under the influence. You could think what you will in regards to whatever substance he used to make himself go under the influence. I tend to think it's a little bit of the Miami booger sugar, if you will. But, if you think it's alcohol or whatever the case may be, why put yourself in a predicament like this, boyo? So you said that you book for the Sickos. Like I said, third time, drunk person, sober mind. So this is how you legitimately feel, in my opinion. I don't think you're saying it just because you want to shoot back at the marks in the comment section, right? I think you're saying it because you're actually admitting your legitimate feelings. Now, I mean, obviously, it's not as if we haven't known this already, right? I put out a community post a couple of hours ago where I discussed his booking to Christian, right? Where Christian was essentially talking about his booking in WWE with the Chris Van Vliet show and, his current booking in AEW. And I'm listening to everything that he's saying in regards to what he brings to the table. And then I think about the Christian Cage character in itself. And then I think about Edge being there and all the things that it's in regards to that storyline and that feud and how they missed the boat on so many opportunities because of all the pinpoint markers that they could have knocked out in order to get that feud over. That could have spilled over and that could have got more eyeballs in the company, which in turn would have got more eyes on the superstars. There are and this is not even me saying that it would have been a mainstream eye catcher. I'm not saying that. But at least within the confines of professional wrestling, there is a market out there that you could be marketing to that actively watches professional wrestling every week. There are about at least close to 1 million fans just in WWE alone that is untapped potential domestically that you have not tapped into, that Edge and Christian, in my opinion, could have gotten at least 1/4 of that audience back over to your side or back onto your side that could have watched your product on a consistent basis. It's not even talking about a mainstream audience. It's can you get the audience to get us back to being close to 1 million? Not even at 1 million, close to 1 million, where we were at last year. And then you screw that all up. You fumbled the ball when it came to that because you were too focused on extracurricular activities that had nothing to do with the match in itself that needed your undivided attention. You were too busy focusing on doing and this is what you said, booking for the Sickos when it came to the moves and the other bullshit. You were too focused on that rather than focusing on the Edge and Christian stuff. And you know what? You coming out and tweeting this just all but confirms your way of thinking. Like I said, this is me believing that he's under the influence, but at the same time, let's just hypothetically say that he wasn't underneath the influence. Let's just say this was him trolling. Let's just say this was him, again, coming out to stick it to the marks, right? Even though he's the world's biggest fucking mark. Okay, so no matter how you look at this, it's bad. It's bad. It makes the company look bad. It makes the superstars who decided to side with your company, who put they put their reputation on the line going to your company. And you have so many contracts coming up, dude, whether it's for people leaving AEW or potentially leaving AEW or for people who want to come to AEW. And then you have all the stuff that's going on, as I mentioned before, with TBS. And it's like, why do this? This benefits nobody in the end of the day. You didn't have to do this. You didn't. It's just you once again putting your foot in your mouth. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'll leave you with this right here, because like I said, this is going to be a long video. You go back to everybody who talks about Triple H or Vince McMahon or even past people in WCW like Eric Bischoff or the people who go after Jim Cornette, pretty much anyone who's not within the bubble of AEW, because even now they're starting to strike out against people like New Japan Pro Wrestling, because New Japan Pro Wrestling evidently is calling into question how much they keep getting the shaft by AEW, right? Everybody in the world is bad except for AEW when it comes to the AEW faithful. Never do you look within yourself. Never do you look within your camp and then point at the person who is at the helm, the person who is the leader, the person who picks up his cell phone, types words, posts it, and sends it out, and you get all these unwarranted, because it didn't have to be this way, unsolicited vitriol from everybody within the industry, whether you're talking about colleagues, whether you're talking about fans. You put yourself in that predicament and you say the most asinine things that put you in that predicament, and it opens you up to so many criticisms. And it just befuddles me how your faithful, your fans, they can look at everybody and say, why are you so harsh on Tony Khan? When it's Tony Khan being harsh on himself, when it's Tony Khan opening up the doors for people to come after him in this way. You think I want to every week come up here and talk about the escapades of what Tony Khan has done? You think I want to go out of my way and call him a shitty booker? I want to praise AEW. I want to put AEW on a pedestal. He calls people like me bots. What is, you get to a point sometimes where you just shake your head and you just say to yourself, like, God damn, bro, you're like a disappointed father. You're just a lost child. I give up. I give up on people like Tony Khan when it comes to his mentality, bro. And when it's all said and done, he's a trust fund kid. He's a trust fund kid who happened to fall into a great opportunity. An opportunity that allowed him to own a wrestling business. And he could use that opportunity to bolster the business. He could use that opportunity to put professional wrestling back into a premier spot where it's been lacking for the better part of 25 years. He can actually be a strong opposition to WWE to keep them on their toes. But instead, he's out here tweeting. He's out here confirming obvious bias when it comes to his booking. He's out here essentially saying that, hey, I'm not going to change my ways. I'm a drug-addled 41-year-old man-child. And this is how I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is who I am. I'm Tony Khan. I'm the guy who was on your Reddit page about 10 years ago underneath Adnan. And me going there and telling you why it was a good idea to have Ricochet versus Will Ospreay and having them do all those moves, and why you're a mark and why you're a stupid person for not appreciating the moves from Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and how you're a fucking clown for wanting to see more Hulk Hogan, for wanting to see more Randy Savage, for wanting to see more Andre the Giant, for wanting to see more Austin, more Rock. Why do you want to see all that when we have all this Japanese talent on here giving you some of the world's classic matches? Now it's time to get more aggressive. There's no helping this guy. There's no helping AEW. There's no helping the AEW fans. There's no helping anyone within professional wrestling within a 9-mile radius of this guy's company when it comes to him actually doing the right things, when it comes to the actual booking, when it comes to being a legitimate boss. You're always going to get situations like this. And honestly, when I look at guys like Tony Khan, when I look at the predicaments that he consistently puts himself into, when I hear people talk about Vince McMahon and how he's a bad promoter and all this other kind of stuff, what if I were to concede all those arguments, right? What if I were to concede all those arguments in regards to Tony Khan's rants, people dismissing them, deflecting from the issue, playing the whataboutism with WWE? What if I concede all of that and still come back to the fact that Tony Khan is and forever will be one of professional wrestling's worst bookers ever? Can I say that and then give you all the proof in the world that coincides with that? Or can I not do that because everybody else around Tony Khan happens to be so much worse in your eyes? Alright. You do you then, AEW fanboy. Don't let me stop you. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be back later on tonight for the SmackDown review. Or unless something else blows up. Who knows? Who cares? As you can tell right now, I'm super disappointed. Again, this guy is just imagine what professional wrestling can be if Tony Khan was in the right mind space, man. Imagine someone in that position with that amount of power. Imagine what they can do for professional wrestling. Just imagine. And every single it seems like every 2 or 3 weeks, we get something crazy coming out of this guy. We get some crazy news coming out of the AEW locker room. It can never just be anything positive. It can never just be anything that actually helps professional wrestling. It's all a detriment and it's all a deflection, and it always takes away from the people who are... It's just another day. What can I say? Let me get out of here. Deuces, P, Ice. Damn shame.